As you might have seen in the thumbnail, it was Pokimane and WilburSoot, the two people in our thumbnail. So you might be wondering, what's about Pokimane and WilburSoot? And I have yet another surprise for you. Chess lately has been booming. It's been increasingly, exponentially. It's been going crazy with the new Queen's Gambit on Netflix and with this tournament that happened a while back, hosted by the Botez sisters. The contestants included Pokimane, WilburSoot, Tubbo, and many more. So guys, what are we waiting for? The nice thing about these contestants are they're very good at Minecraft. So name some good Minecraft YouTubers. GeorgeNotFound, Sapnap. Oh, well, they're there in the tournament as well. So this tournament basically takes all the famous Minecraft Twitch streamers and makes them play chess. So you might be wondering, why would they probably waste an hour of their day, their whole day, and then hours on other days for training and such? Well, there's a very, very generous prize fund of $25,000. Crazy, isn't it? So these contestants will be competing for $25K. The tournament happened a while back, and here I'll be covering all of the games, including the finals and the third place match. You don't want to miss out. So if you want to be sure to view those videos, make sure to stay till the end, like, subscribe, comment on what I should do next, and make sure to share with friends and family. Well guys, we'll hop into the very first game between GeorgeNotFound and WilburSoot. Our first game brought nothing less than tons of excitement. With hanging queens, hanging pieces, and hanging everything, this is a game which you want to watch and enjoy. So we'll start out with e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. I forgot to mention, GeorgeNotFound was playing the white pieces and Wilbur was playing the black pieces. Going into this game, GeorgeNotFound was clearly the favorite, but Wilbur had a psychological advantage. We'll see if that changes anything. We have bishop e5, knight f6. This is the Roy Lopez opening with the Berlin defense, the two knights on f6 and c6. Then we have knight c3, a6, and George can take on c6, but he chooses to play bishop a4 and play a little bit solid. Bishop a4, bishop c5, castles, and castles. Remember guys, castles is one of our special moves. Then we have d3, protecting this e4 pawn, and Wilbur responds with d6. And now we have bishop e3. This move I don't like because if Wilbur takes, such as bishop takes e3, then George will have to take with his f pawn, and he has doubled pawns, and maybe his king would get exposed with diagonals such as this and this. But instead, what happens is after d3, d6, bishop e3, he plays rook b8, maybe trying to go for some b5 and having everything protected on b5 with the a6 pawn and the rook on b8. And then George goes for d4. Okay, you can see the valuation bar drop, and there's actually a very interesting line here. So what can happen is, black will take the pawn, right? And now your knight and bishop are both under attack. If you move one of them, they'll simply take and they'll be completely winning. Like bishop g5, then they'll take here and they'll be completely winning, right? But let's say you take back with a knight. Then they'll take back with their knight. Then you'll take back with your bishop. And they'll take back with their bishop. And then you'll take back with your queen. And you might be wondering, hey, isn't this equal? Or am I even doing good? My queen is in the center. I have a nice knight. But did you take into account the move c5? What a wonderful move this is. This attacks the queen. You might be saying, oh, okay, fine. I'll just move my queen somewhere back here or something. But then b5. Remember this rook on b8? Now it protects. So even after, if you go knight takes b5, then they'll just take back with this pawn. And then if you take here, and the rook will take here, and black's completely winning. But you might say, am I forced to take there? Well, absolutely not. After b5, what's your idea? There isn't much to do. Let's say I bring our bishop back. But that's where a c5 move came in. It acted as a double threat. So later on, we could play c4. And now this bishop is trapped. So now the best option is just get a pawn out of it and takes and takes. But now look at it. Are you still up a piece? No. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pawns. Black has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? But you have one knight. They have a knight. You have both rooks, kings, and queens. But they have an extra bishop. That's why they're winning. So now moving on. H3. So actually, D4, right? But Wilbur did not take. Played bishop G4. Trying to pin this knight to the queen and then maybe take. But we have H3 attacking the bishop. And then still, same thing is going on here. But it doesn't work. Well, I mean, sorry, it does work. And it works even better because this knight is pinned. But then we have bishop H5 and D takes E5. And wait, what? D takes E5? Simply here, what would have been better is to take this knight on F3, right? And then after the queen would take or the pawn would take, let's say the queen will take for now, then we take here and then we win it because now there's no knight attacking. So if you take with bishop, they'll attack with knight. And now you're completely losing. I don't know why, but Wilbur just missed this. He plays bishop H5, but now he's losing the bishop, right? D takes E5, and now white is the one who's up the piece. And now we have B5, and then we have CB6. Okay, this move is crazy. You might be wondering, is it a hack? No. Is it what is this? This is called en passant, or en passant, which means in passing in French. This is one of the rarest special moves in chess. And Wilbur did not know about this when he was playing this game. So on the live stream, he was so shocked. It was so funny, right? But this is called en passant or en passant, as I said. And if this black pawn comes up, because if this black pawn, let's say, comes up to B6, then you can take, right? But this black pawn chose to not let you take and come up to B5. But since there's en passant or en passant, they can take like this. It might be a little bit confusing right now, but stay tuned, because a tutorial about this will come out soon if you guys would like. En passant is very confusing, and I understand why you'll be confused. We'll discuss it in later videos. But what happened is after en passant, instead of taking or anything, Wilbur played rook C8. Now this move is extremely dubious, because now George wins another piece. Bishop takes E7, and now we have A5. I don't know what this move is again, maybe trying to play A4 or something. But now we have B takes E7, and Queen takes E7, and Bishop A4. Now Wilbur has, a couple of pieces, but they're not very active. Because look, okay, we can count as a center 16 squares. Usually it's a center 4, D4, D5, E4, and E5. But let's say we count the center 16 squares, right? And if we don't think about pawns for now, how many pieces for each side are in the center 16 squares? We always want our pieces to be in the center and always attacking, right? In the party, we always want our pieces to attack. Well, here, let's see, because black only has one knight, and we have two knights and a bishop in the center 16 squares. So that's why we can see white is much more active, which gives black 0% chance of counterplay. Make sure to also check out the Hikaru Mr. Beast video. Also, yeah, sorry, that was a bit random, but you should check it out. So let's say after bishop A4, right? So then we have rook B8 trying to attack this B2 pawn. And then we have knight to D5, queen to B7, and knight takes F6. Now we're trading a couple pieces, but once again, Wilbur makes a positional mistake now. He's now weakening his kingside pawn structure, which is not good, and it leads to some problems. Queen takes D6, the start of them. Rook B D8, queen takes F6. Now there's ideas of bishop F6, so let's say if the rook moves back here, then there's bishop F6, and if the queen takes here, oh, it's checkmate, right? But what happened is, after queen takes D6, the rook came to attack, queen takes F6, more pawns, queen A6, whoa, what, queen A6? You're blundering your queen. Yes, Wilbur just blundered his queen outright. What's even crazier is George played bishop H6, and he did not see that Wilbur could take the queen on F6. So Wilbur took the queen on F6, and now who's winning? It's Wilbur with the black pieces, and he's winning this game. Bishop g5, queen takes g. Wait, what? Queen takes g5? Now you're blundering back your queen. You're just giving it for a piece. What is this? Wilbur at this time had around 15 seconds. So it would have been still hard to play, but he could have played something maybe like queen d6 or something and still consolidate his position, right? But, I mean, actually, queen d6 is also, rook takes d6, rook takes d6, but still much easier to play with the black pieces, practically speaking. But he just gives his queen away, and now George is winning once again. Bishop g4. What? Another hanging piece? Yup, he played bishop g4 for no reason. And after h takes g4, George is in complete command. And now after rook f e8, bishop takes e8, rook takes e8, another blunder by Wilbur. Rook f d1, a4, rook d5, f5, rook a d1, rook d8, another rook goes hanging. Rook takes d8, king g7, rook 1 to d7. You might be wondering, why does it say rook 1 to d7? Well, it's because both rooks are on the d file, and both of them can come to d7. So we have to say that the rank they're on. So this is rook 1 to d7. So rook 1 d7, king g6, knight h3. Good move by George. Still protecting the square while making sure that this king can't come here, or take the knight that was on the square. Then we have f takes g4, rook g8, king f6, rook f8, king e6, rook df7. Very good. Very good. Actually, I'll make another series coming out called Endgames, where we'll study some endgames and see how to win. But this is how you do it. Make sure your rooks are connected. Good job. Good job. G takes h3. Nice move by Wilbur. Good find. Good find. Rook f6 check. King e7. Rook 8 f7 check. King e8. Rook takes h7. h2. There's nothing dangerous here. Don't worry. You can take with the king. You can take with the rook too, but then king e7, and you're going to have to bring your rooks over and do another mating pattern. So good job. King takes h2. Then we have a3, rook a6, a takes b2. Don't worry, this pawn won't get down here because rook a8 is checkmate. What a wonderful game. Wonderfully played by both sides. Wilbur was the underdog coming in. He'd only played 4 games of chess before, so great job for staying in and fighting against George. This was a really tough game. And also, congrats to George for beating Wilbur. And George will move on. There were 8 contestants, and this was the very first game. So, guys, stay tuned for the other games and for the Mr. Beast vs. Hikaru series. You don't want to miss it. Coming out soon. So be sure to subscribe, like, share with friends and family, and comment on if I should do Mr. Beast or if I should cover Block Champs part number 2. See you in the next one. Thanks a lot, and bye.